right now. I come from a background of sales. I have been in sales my entire career for 14 years at Nordstrom. So Jamie, give me a little shout out. Jamie, one of our newer team members, her and I were partners in crime at Nordstrom, and our whole history was, working our customer base through the holiday season, because as we know, in this shift of time, people go from self-purchase to gifting. And so that's why we want to be so intentional with your guys' time on this call and just making sure you're so set up. So before we dive in more to the agenda, just a high level, we're going to go through our plan tonight. So if you guys do have that calendar that I sent on the chat, please grab it in front of you. We're going to talk about goals. So we're going to look at your volume. If you were in holiday last year with Beauty Counter, and if you weren't, no big deal, because it's so incredible. There's so many new of you guys. We're going to just look at maybe your last month or last 2 to 3 month trend, so we can help you set goals and volume goals for this season. And then I also just want to share, a group of us just came back from our leadership event, LEAD, which was absolutely amazing. It was in Austin, Texas. And I just want to share some really incredible vision that a extremely successful business mentor, Brendan Bouchard, shared with us as a leadership group. And I just want to make sure I'm passing that back to all of you, because it really affected me. So to kick this off, I would love anyone that's new to just give us a wave. So if you've been here like a month, 2 months, like just give me a wave. I'm going to go through here, I think. And if I miss you, definitely give me a shout out. So Nikki, you're definitely someone that I feel like is newer. Everyone give me a wave, Nikki. And Cassie, I know you've been around a little bit longer, but Cassie's here. She's just been she's having so much success. Let's go down the line. Who else do we have that's a little bit newer? Tasha's here. She's a little bit newer. Say hi. Jamie, give me a wave. And then Britlin and Steph, I don't think they're on screen, but they are both newer to our team. So did I miss anyone else? Do we feel good about that? Okay, because I think a big part is you guys are known and we want to support you. So make sure you ask questions. I am not a formal person. So if I'm sharing something and you guys have questions, please just unmute and ask, or drop it in the chat, and we can definitely address it as we kind of go along. So the first thing that I wanted to share is just kind of what I was talking about with goals. Something that I put at the top of your guys's just one sheet is looking at October, November, December. And I would love, if you have not already, take a minute and to look up your last year or LY volume. So your October volume, November and December. And look at that number and kind of get a gauge for, okay, how has my business been trending? Have I been in growth mode and I've added, a new business partner and I'm seeing my business volume grow substantially? Plan yourself with that going into this next month. Just don't look at LY last year and think, oh, I'm going to do the same thing I did last year. No, you guys want to be strategic. A metric that we have seen over and over again with Beauty Counter is we see a 200% increase in sales in these next 3 months. So to look at that strategically and plan your business volume and your personal volume, those are two different numbers. If you're newer here, you know that your personal volume is just what you personally sell. And then your BV is your business volume. So anything you sell, anything you purchase, as well as anyone on your team. So if you added a team member, that goes into your total BV and business volume. And that's how with Beauty Counter, you grow your leadership title. And with growing your leadership title, you grow your commission on what you make on your business. So that's substantially affects how much you make and how much you can make. So growing your title is how you really maximize our compensation plan. So take a second, look at your goals. I was going to share out just so we can kind of see what our team has done. Last year in October, we did 70,000 in business volume, which is incredible. November, which we know our majority of our sales is in November. That is where our huge pickup is. That is when all the shopping significantly happens, is in November. We did 113,000. That was our all-time high. So that was the first month we ever, as a Comecleansis team, we've been around for 3 years, surpassed 100K. So exciting. So really excited. I mean, I looked back at who was driving that volume. Our very own Lisa Schrader, 5,700. Right behind her was Lindsay at 5,100. Miss Asia doing 5,000. Rachel at 4,300, and then Tara and myself both at 4,100. So just hearing those numbers, like what a huge pickup from just our average, 2,000 or 1,500 that we're accomplishing. Customers are buying, you guys. It is wild. So that is, again, the whole intent of this call. Let's get your plan. Let's make it really clear what it takes to accomplish that and make money and grow the mission and just cast a vision for why you want to swap out for clean. So, and then looking at this is interesting. So November, we go from 113K to December, 40,000. So still big volume, really big volume, but what a shift we see. And I have some pretty clear and concrete ideas for December that we didn't execute last year. So I'm excited to share that out. So can you guys just take a second, look at that calendar, jot your goals down? One of the biggest things that I heard loud and clear from Brendan, who was our keynote speaker at LEAD, was, and you guys, he's the business coach to Oprah Winfrey. So this is not just some random guy. He's Oprah Winfrey. He's coached 2 of the presidents. He is currently the business coach for all of the Google executives. This man absolutely knows what he's doing. And I think what I always try to impress is, like, some of you guys are career women and you have full-time jobs. Some of you are working part-time. Some of you are moms and working, full-time at home as a mom. What I want to implore you all is you are all business women. And that is the difference in our team, is we're not just, oh, here I'm selling lipstick. No, I have no time for that. We are here to change an industry. We are here to cast vision of the health effects of what this product can, what unclean product can do to women's bodies. Your stories tell that. Some of the stories that you guys have been through are what move people to change this entire industry. And yes, I will not stop preaching about that. So during holiday, our market and our network just quadruples to get to have that platform. It's like you're sharing, in a small town, and then in the middle of December, it's like you go into a stage on a city, just for a vision of how much our business changes, your vision of it, just completely, your audience grows tenfold. So with the amount of people you can reach during this time frame, having a plan and having a goal is something, yes, that you set, but you have to see it. You have to be reminded of that goal. And I think what I have been at fault for is I have this little handy dandy notebook from day one of my beauty counter business, and I jot my little goal down, and then this is what I do. And I set it on my desk, and I don't look at it again. So I was really convicted when Brendan shared about goal setting, was set that goal and put it somewhere you guys are going to see it. You are going to see it and be reminded, oh yeah, I didn't just set my goal of doing 1,000. I'm going to do 2,500, or I'm going to reach 3,000 during November, because that's where the opportunity is. So think about that. So put your goals down and then write, like, okay, I'm going to put this on a Post-it note in my car. I'm going to put this on a Post-it note on my fridge. Wherever you want to remind yourself where that goal is going to go so you can see it, please do that. Okay. And you guys good with goal setting and jotting all that down? So the mission, the real vision that Brendan shared during LEAD really moved me, because he didn't just show up and talk about how great Beauty Counter is and how incredible our company is and our product and all of this. He talked about the culture of our world and where we are at as families, where we are at as moms and women and business owners. And it just really hit home because he wasn't like just preaching at us. He was talking about like the culture of what we're all experiencing. And it was moving because he cast vision of where we've been and where we can choose to go. And so one of the first things he talked about is just the climate of our world is tough right now. And I think we can all say that, like, it is intense. There's challenging dynamics. Many of you are going through very hard seasons of life. And what that does to us mentally is it's just exhausting. It's tiring, and it creates something in us in how we want to cope with that challenge. And so he talked about this lifestyle that has created this overarching season of hardship for many people coming out of COVID. People are just figuring out how to interact. What does work look like now? It's just a very weird, unknown season. And so he put a graph up of 3 different circles. And I thought it was such a good vision because it forces you to look at yourself internally and say, oh my gosh, I'm in that circle and I really want to be over here in this circle. So as I share, I think it would be beneficial to write these things down so you can kind of self-identify where you're at, because I can sit here for the next 20 minutes and give you guys all the amazing tips and tricks about Beauty Counter and how to make money and how to cast the vision of why swap out for clean. But if your heart is not there, if you are physically and mentally, emotionally disconnected because of intensity and stressors and things that are happening, you're not going to do anything with that information. So for many of you, you know this about me. A lot of you don't, but I want to get to the heart level. I want to get to know who you are and where you're at, because once I can identify and connect with you, I know how to walk with you. I know how to process life with you and help you show you how to take one step versus saying, hey, I'm at home and I'm depressed and struggling, but Lauren wants me to go out and sell $3,000. That doesn't add up. That's just not going to happen. But if you know where you're at emotionally and just processing life in general, you're able to generally take, smaller steps to just move forward. And that's what my biggest heart is like. Let's all just move forward one step at a time. So the first circle he talked about was just this place of fear, which many of you and all of us experience going through the crazy season of, COVID and the weird unknown and all of that. And what that season creates is this desire for security and comfort. It also creates a lot of doubt and just fear and being scared. There were so many unknowns, but our general overarching culture experienced that and kind of entered into that place. So that was kind of the first thought that he processed of like, this is where we've been. The second piece of that, so the second circle was coping. So we all coped with it differently. We all have different experiences. We all have different backgrounds and places on the whole branch of COVID. I know the biggest stressor I felt during the season was division. Like, we have different thought processes and how to deal with life experiences. And that division was what broke my heart, because it created that like separation of maybe close relationships. So coping with a fear or a hardship, and this does not just have to be about COVID. He was just talking about this overarching kind of culture of where we're at. Coping is where you enter into just wanting to be comfortable. And you ask yourself a lot of questions like, who am I and what do I believe in? But then you also kind of start walking down to a place of, okay, I don't want to stay here, right? We've all started to kind of see this transition of, okay, we're out of that crazy season, this lockdown lifestyle, and starting to ask ourselves, like, who do I want to be now? And you kind of enter into this place of like reinventing yourself, redesiring, like, hey, that's what life used to be like, but it's not anymore. And I think we can all experience that, like, life is different now. So that second circle was that coping. And then the third one, which I was just really encouraged by, was moving through and moving forward. And he just labeled that as action. So this place of, okay, we know that we were in a tough place. We have exited out of that. We've learned, we have grown, things have completely changed. And now we have a season to take action. But the biggest thing here, you guys, You're probably sitting there like, I thought I was on a holiday call. What is she talking about? But the biggest thing here was you have to choose that action. You have to make a choice to move into action. And I am going to be transparent. Sister over here put some LBs on during COVID. And I was like, I think I gained like 10 pounds and was not comfortable with what had happened during that season, and knew that like for me to move forward, I needed to start running again. I needed to get active again to be myself. And that is what really drew me out of, okay, that was that season, but I want to take action and move forward to be the person that I know Lauren is and who God created me to be the best version of, yes, maybe I was comfortable and coping in that center circle, but now I'm moving into action. So sharing all of that, again, very high level, but just in a vision of you have to recognize where you're at in your own personal life and what you are willing to do to move forward to the person you want to be and the business that you want to have. And I love looking at this kind of process because we can all take those pieces and those 3 circles and look at different areas of our life and say, what we need to choose is action. And the other piece is how you show up. One of the things that he shared, which I absolutely love, is coming out of this crazy season that we were in. It's been a hard vibe. Like the culture's been challenging and confusing. And we have to choose to change that. We have to be responsible for the energy that we bring. And that goes to your home, your work, your spouse, your kids, your friends. How are you guys showing up? How are you showing up with your customers? What does that look like in building relationships with the people that you're serving? Because if you're just going to them and asking them every month, hey, I'm here to circle back with you and see if you need another chapstick. How does that serve them? Do you want to get a sell? Absolutely. But what does your relationship look like with them? How are you caring for them and following up with them and saying, hey, you've had that new tint skin for 2 weeks now. How is it going for you? Did I freeze? I can always tell. So circling back with customers by serving them, that's the energy I'm talking about. Choosing to be compassionate and care for them and ask them how the product is serving them. Is it meeting their needs? That's one thing I love to just randomly send a text message to some of my best customers. Hey, how's that serving you? Are you still loving that Countertime serum? Are you getting the results that you want from it? That has nothing to do with about a sale. It's me caring for my customer. So if you write one thing down in that whole spiel, I would challenge you guys to write down, please be responsible for the energy that you bring. Because as you greet your best friend and you're like, hey girl, it was another day. My job sucks. Like that's not life-giving. And of course you can talk to your girlfriends and share what's going on and blah, 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 but just consider the energy and the, excitement and joy that you have to offer, because you all have it. And I love that vision. And I love the idea of honestly looking at those 3 circles and saying, what am I willing to do? If I'm still over here in the security fear zone, or maybe I'm here in the center of like coping and I'm just comfortable, what am I willing to do to take one step to move towards action and to move towards change, of making change in your life, making change in your business? So that being said, a lot of that has so much to do with this next quarter for us, because this is a season of action, you guys. This is a season of truly the floodgates open. But if you do not have a plan, you're not going to reap it. You are not going to be the Lisa, Lindsay, Tara, Rachel, Asia top volume. They worked their businesses. They executed. They walked it out to get those results. So that is what we mean by taking action. And again, that's a lot of kind of vision, but we want to meet you guys where you're at. So after this call, please connect with, your mentor, myself, any of us, to just kind of be honest, like, here's where I'm at. I'm definitely in fear zone. I'm super freaked out about talking to customers. I'm in comfortable zone. I just have these great 5 customers and I'm just here and I'm super comfortable with them. And I just want to keep selling to them, blah, blah, blah. Or I'm willing to go into action zone. Like, I'm ready to do this. You guys, I've been here for 3 years. I replaced my corporate salary that I worked my butt off for at Nordstrom for 14 years. And I'm working on my Christmas jammies. So it is possible, but it takes action. It takes a plan. So no better than so many of our incredible rock stars to share what the heck they have done, because this is not just, me sitting here going, oh, try this and try that. No, I don't have the great ideas. I have a lot of excitement and a lot of fun and a lot of energy, but the great ideas of what to do with your business come from all of your counterparts. So knocking it out, number 1, little Miss Tara is going to unmute, another one of my work wives from Nordstrom.
Work wife.
And she is, what I would love for you guys to do is jot down. I gave you spots to take notes as she's talking. Part of this taking action is writing down names and people that you could execute to do what these gals are going to be sharing. So Tara's going to share some of her background in how she's executed some really incredible in-person events.
Okay. Hi, guys. I'm Tara. I've been doing this with Lawrence for 3 years. And before that, yes, we worked together at we worked side by side at Nordstrom for 10 years of our time together. I was there for 12. And I am a full-time real estate agent, and beauty counter's always been my secondary income. So I just like to level set with that, because I'll be very truthful. I don't give it a ton of time, but the time that I do put in, I want to make sure it counts. And so last holiday, it worked out really well. And so we're going to just bullet point it out for you guys right now, so you can understand how to get ahead of the season. And if nothing else, I want you to remember this: your holiday products are your employees. They do the selling for you. They help you increase the amount that you're selling. They help you better serve your clients. And so I have invested in a holiday set, this will be my 4th holiday. So wild. And I do believe this is the best the product's ever looked, but the product doesn't do anything for you if the product's not working for you. So we're going to talk about that. So, I executed multiple in-person events last holiday season. And I want to start by saying, before last holiday, for last October, I had not hosted an in-person pop-up since December 2019. I took a 2-year hiatus because there was a pandemic, and I was like, I'm not getting people together. I don't know what's happening. And frankly, it was like way outside my comfort zone. I was for sure living in like some of that fear and coping. And I was like, I'm not going to ask people to like have people to their houses that I don't know, and like all these things. And so it was not for me. So I worked my business in different ways. But last holiday, I really felt compelled to, after talking to my customers and hearing so many people feeling like they needed community, I was like, you know what? I want to get my people together and take care of them, because we all were in this place where we were feeling like depleted. We were like, we don't really know how to be in public anymore. And, we're in this limbo. So I was like, rather than asking people to host in their homes, I'm going to host an open house brunch once a month where women can meet in person. Maybe we all live in the same neighborhood, or like some of us, our husbands golf together, but we don't really get together. And so I made a list of names in early October, like this week, right? Of everybody who I would want and I feel would benefit from in-person connection. And then from there, I sent out evites. Like, I just do an evite and I said, hey, I'm doing a brunch for girlfriends at my house. The first one was the 3rd weekend of October. So like before you get to Halloween, right? And I was like, let's get together, let's drink some coffee and eat some pastries, and I'll show you guys the preview of the new holiday sets. Not come over to shop, It's, hey, I already have these, so let's get together and then you can take a look while you're here. So that, I think it takes the pressure, a couple of things. One, it's an invite to somebody's home. It's on a Saturday afternoon when we're not competing with soccer and school and PTO meetings and all of those things. I was like, when's the time during the week when everybody's most likely to be available? And even if they can only scoot away for an hour, what does that look like? Because ultimately what they needed to be served with was the community aspect, and the products were a byproduct. So the first one I had, nobody showed up for the first hour, and I thought no one was going to show up. 15 people said yes. I invited 30 and nobody showed up. And so I was like texting Lauren and I was like, I have a buffet full of food and it's going to be me eating 14 scones. But then people came later because, like I said in the invite, I said, if you can only drop by for 30 minutes, I still want you to come. And because I said that, people did. They just flowed in through the day. And you guys, it ended up being not just a great day for new people to meet one another, for me to connect in person with clients and friends. I ended up selling $3,000 that day because people were getting ready and they were like, I don't have any fall makeup. Oh my gosh, my skin is so dry. Like, can we talk about skincare? And then somebody would be talking about their favorite product. And then we all started talking about eyebrows. And so it was just this really natural and organic way to talk about the product without it being like, well, let me sit you through the presentation. So yes, this event was in October. This was like a week or two before Halloween. And it was really just the casual brunch because I wanted to put a couple feelers out because I was like, who's interested maybe in hosting a pop-up after coming to this? Who do I think might want to join my team? Is there anybody coming out of this? And then the people who shop for themselves, they're also going to need to shop for gifts. So we're going to do this again in a different way. So then flash forward to November, I use that same list with a few more names because people were like, oh, my girlfriend so-and-so would love something like this. And I said, let's bring her to the next one. I'm going to do one for holiday shopping next month because everybody kept laughing and they were like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm like buying stuff for myself. I probably should buy things for other people. And I was like, no, I was like, we'll do that later, right? Like, let's do that next month. I said, so next month, bring your shopping list and who you need to check off. And I strategically hosted that one during our Black Friday event. So I had people who came and shopped in October, which was great. I had them come back during a sale time and bring a friend to my open house in November. So think like the weekend prior to Thanksgiving is usually when that goes live. Or if you have time to do it Thanksgiving weekend as like an open house on Saturday or Sunday, that's another awesome time. Like those days when you're like, what day is it? It's not a holiday, but I'm not back at work. I can't eat any more turkey. And people need to get out of their house. Like that's a great time. And usually people will say yes when they're in town. So that was the second one. And it was the same thing. So I had probably 15 people at that event because there were people who said they were coming and they fall out. So always invite more because half the people don't show up who you invite, which is totally normal. And then other people brought friends. And so then all of a sudden I had these new customers. I had my people who shopped for themselves last month with product credit now burning a hole in their pockets, plus a sale, plus their shopping lists. So I ended up in that month doing over $4,000 in sales, and 3,500 of it, you guys, came from that one pop-up. So if you are thinking to yourself, I don't have a ton of time to invest in my business, the best bang for your buck is a pop-up because you are in front of so many people at once and you are selling to everybody at the same time. So that's my plug. So then the third event that I did was in December. It was the first weekend of December. So we did the third weekend of October, pre-Halloween. So you're not dealing with last minute scrambles to find a costume, right? We did either the weekend right before or the weekend of Thanksgiving when the Black Friday sale is happening. And then the last event that I did was the first weekend of December because I wanted to make sure I honored shipping time and people's travel plans. So I put myself into a holiday market, which is something I never would have done before. And frankly, if I hadn't done the October and November pop-ups, I might not have had the confidence, but I've been talking about these sets all season. And so I said, yeah, I'll do it. And so I grabbed a couple extra things to have on hand, and we can talk about the logistics of that too. But I basically put all my holiday sets out. I put a little sticker on the back that had what the price of everything was, a big QR code for people to scan and shop. And then I had my computer. So I was placing orders for people right there. at the table. And because everybody was local, what'd you say?
Yeah, I wanted to emphasize this because
Yeah.
I thought this was like genius, you guys. Doing this market was like a strategic thought on Tara's part to look at other places. Like she was just sharing, she hosted these in her home. Her first two, October, November, were in her house, but that third piece was looking for an opportunity outside. So going to a boutique, going to, in this case, you went to your country club, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And she had additional sets with her. So where, like she just said, which I also love, have your product set out. She actually bought, how many additional sets did you purchase?
I purchased I think it was 3 hand creams, 3 lip glosses, a couple of the mask sets, because what I wanted was if there was a rando schmando, right, who was I need to take this now, and they want that instant gratification, I was like, okay, I need to figure out a way to do that. So they could take a set. I would still place an order for them. And then that became my replenishment. So then I got that set that they ordered and they took the one that I had there on the table.
So this is kind of the differentiator. We're not sitting here saying, buy a bunch of extra sets.
No.
That is not the heart. It is have a few in stock, maybe choose one that you're like, okay, I'm going to buy 3 of these because I'm actually going to let people walk away with something in hand. So, and that was in December, and Tara was #1 personal volume. She did $4,100, way above everybody else. And it was because she had that in person and let people walk away with product. So
100%.
Again, you actually ring it right there. You still process the order. You're just shipping it to a pop-up back to you. So it's like you're replenishing that product. Okay, so good. Thank you, T. Anything else before we wrap up?
No, I think the biggest thing is that if you struggle with pop-ups, I struggled with pop-ups for a long time. I think sometimes the stress of us finding a host is the part that gets in the way. It was for me because I felt like I was putting people out. And I'm a pretty social person. I'm usually pretty good about asking people. And for some reason, this was my one hang up. I could ask people to join my team or buy stuff all the time, but encroaching on somebody's space always was a little sticky. So by being the person who said, just come over, just come to my house or come meet me wherever.
Yeah.
I feel like it took down that barrier of me asking, can you host this thing for me? And instead it was come join me and meet my community and make some great new friends. And also there's product, and it just felt very organic. It felt very authentic. So if you're I don't know who's going to host this for me, just start by hosting one yourself. That's more of the story.
So good. I love it. Okay. So that's kind of an overdue, kind of a seasonal plan in hosting. Moving on, Asia. What was Asia? She's already unmuted, of course.
I'm on it.
I'm really into this idea. She crushed this, knocked it out of the party. Gentlemen, talk to us about selling to the fellas. What the heck does that look like?
Okay, I'm gonna make this short and sweet because this was easy and it made a lot of money. So I had this idea from some other consultants and it was really easy to execute. So I hosted a guys shopping night at my house. So I will send a link to the invite I made in Canva. I'll drop it into the Comecleansis chat, but it basically was a beer and whiskey tasting. And I had appetizers and I had a personalized shopping experience in the invite. I said, come over for a guys only shopping night with Beauty Counter hosted by me. There's something for everyone. I said, avoid the malls, support local, and give the gift of clean this season. So essentially the concept behind this was inviting guys to my house. It was my friends' husbands. It was my uncles, my dad, my brother, my cousin, all the guys that I knew in my life. I had them over. I had all my holiday products out on the table. I did a very quick, we're talking 2-minute. Hi, you know who I am. This is what Beauty Counter is. This is how I'm going to take care of you. And I was really short and sweet to the point. And I was like, I'm here to help you make the easiest shopping experience ever for all the women in your life. Give me your budget. Give me anything specific you want to buy and anyone you're shopping for. And I did quick little one-on-ones. And they were like, Asia, I want to spend $150 on my wife. Tell me what I should get. So I knew in my mind, I had kind of combined some products that I knew would get there, but it was a lot of hand creams. It was a lot of masks. And it was super easy, super fun. A lot of the guys hadn't seen each other in a long time. So they had a chance to kind of sit back and relax. I raffled off for everyone that ordered. I did like a little bottle of whiskey. And so they really liked that. So that was pretty fun. So it's just a really short and sweet condensed pop-up. The best part of it was all of it was new volume because they either bought with their own email because they didn't want to buy it under their wife's account and have her figure out like what they bought. I highly encouraged Band of Beauty. I think all but one did Band of Beauty. So it was all also 3 months later, I was, hey, you got your product credit. Like, what is your wife running short on? Let's surprise her for her birthday, for Valentine's Day. It was like the best segue into like Q1 revenue. And then what was the last piece? New volume. There was something else I was going to mention. I think that was it, actually. The Band of Beauty. Yeah.
So
So it
good.
was super easy, super fun. And the guys loved it. I did offer, I will say one thing, I did try and offer people to like ship it to me and I would like package it for them, make a little like side cash, like just shoot me $20 and I'll package it for you. Some people took me up on it, some people didn't, but if you do execute this, I will say, if you have a guy who will order Beauty Counter and ship it to their house and their wife or friend, whoever already buys Beauty Counter, this happened to my brother-in-law, my sister got the box and thought she like, oh, I totally didn't think I ordered something and she opened it. So just be mindful of those logistics. Just saying, just putting that out there. So
super smart.
Yeah,
here's the thing about guys, because I started my sales career in the men's department where I met my husband. I'm just going to say that real quick. Guys need to be told what they need. So I don't know if you heard this, but what Asia said is it was a ton of hand creams. It was a ton of charcoal masks, because do you think she was standing in front of all these guys saying, here's the counter time line? No, pick 3 gifts that you want to focus on, make it simple for them, tell them, okay, here's what you need. You're going to put this in her stocking. You're going to put this under the tree. You're going to give this to her on Christmas Eve. Directive. So good, Asia. I love it. Okay, moving on. We have Lynn's is going to share a little bit more about her sip and shop and a little nugget on her holiday market also.
Yep. So sip and see. So yes, kind of piggyback off of what Tara said, but just adding a few more details maybe, but I'm personally going to do this year. I did not do it last year. But what you do is you pick one day. Mine is November 12th. It's already in my calendar. I'm going to do 2 times. So like 11 to 1 and then a 4 to 6. And you just make it super fun and special. So you lay out all of your holiday sets, you have some small snacks, some drinks, I'm just inviting all of my local customers, and I'm going to ask them to bring a friend if they would like, and they're just going to sip and see all of the beautiful holiday sets. You have your order forms already pre-printed, lots of pens. I'm probably going to put the price, just like Tara did, a small price tag on every set. I like doing that over printing out the menu of the pricing, just because people are like, what the hell is the glow and duo? Or like, I don't know, what is that? So put it on the set to make it easy. And then one fun thing that I'm going to do is just give them something fun to go home with. So like a little bag of cookies that you made, or I don't know, a cookie cutter attached to it, just something small to thank them for coming. That's not Beauty Counter. That's kind of their little parting gift. And then you of course have this isn't my calendar, but it's my success plan, but you have your calendar. You have your dates highlighted that you've already cleared with your husband if you're married to double check that you can do a pop-up on, but you are also wandering around and booking pop-ups. So if you are checking someone out, they're shopping and they're like, that was so much fun. Oh, amazing. Perfect. What day will work for you for a pop-up? I've got these 2 dates open. Which one works for you? So you're creating that excitement and that buzz, but also these are the last 2 dates I have. Like, which one do you want? So that's kind of one spin. And then you could, of course, do something where you're just maybe making a really special, more intimate setting with maybe just like 1 or 2 of your top customers. And maybe you're going to their house and they want to, so it's typical pop-up, right? They're bringing some friends over, but I love the sip and see because that is something we all can do. We all have 5 customers local, or some sisters that have never shopped, or moms, whoever, friends from school. That is just something that you can easily do at your house. I live in a very tiny house right now, so I'm actually going to have it at my mom's house. She doesn't know yet, but that's where I'm going. So it's easy. Just do it.
One thing I want to just pause on this is like, we all need to do this. Like if we have the holiday sets, you set them out, pop a bottle of champagne. But layering onto that is ask if you can host it for your best customer and say, hey, would you want to bring over 4 people? I'll set out, some mimosas or coffee. You guys can come to my house and check everything out. And that would be, like Lindsay's saying, doing that on behalf of someone else is just a really easy way to get access into new customers. And it's just like a gift. It's kind of what we've talked about of doing like a VIP event, making them feel special. Hey, I want to do this for you for Christmas. Do you have some girlfriends you guys want to come over? I think Allie and I were talking about this. She's like, I'm testing my customer base, and everyone are young moms and they're running from school. So she's going to do hers mid-morning, which I think is genius during the weekday. Like, meet your people where they're at. Think about that. Okay, Linz, was there one other thing you were going to share?
Nope, I don't think so. It's just
Okay.
similar to Tara's market. So
Cool.
nope.
Okay, love it. All right, so this next one is really fun. Fallon is going to share some really strategic, really thoughtful corporate gifting ideas. And this is why we're sitting here in September in our Christmas jammies talking about holiday, because this is the type of stuff we need to plan right now. So Fallon, tell us what you did for corporate gifting.
Okay, perfect. So I have just a handful of really key points. Would be, first is, do not be scared to make the ask. My first holiday season, I was like, what do I do with these sets? I'm scared to ask anyone to buy it. And I kind of just shrunk in. But last year, I came to one of these meetings. We talked about setting a goal for ourselves. And I said, you know what? I'm going to sell 50 holiday sets. And then I was like, well, crap, how am I going to sell 50 holiday sets? And then I was like, oh, corporate gifting. And I was so scared to make the ask, but I am so glad that I did. And I work for a dental office, and I started with my own boss. And I said, hey, have you thought about gifts yet for the office? And she's like, no, I'm so far behind. It'll probably be the day before. And I said, well, let me pick some items out and suggest them. So that would be another thing, is don't overwhelm whomever you're speaking with an entire, brochure of, oh my gosh, look at all these gift sets. I would say know your audience and maybe pick out 3 key items that might work for their company and suggest, hey, let's order this for your company, and your people will love it. That way they're not looking at a brochure and just being overwhelmed with all these holiday sets. So my boss said yes. And I was like, sweet, let's, which one do you want to get? I had suggested 2 last year. I suggested the charcoal mask, and then that foot scrub that came with the football. And I said, which one would you prefer? And she said, let's do both. And I was like, hello, okay, let's do this. And I kind of also, knowing her and knowing how, giving she is, I also wanted to suggest things that she could pair with it. So that way I literally did everything for her. I took the thinking out of it. And that's what these corporate offices have so much going on that they don't want to think about things. So I said, okay, well, if we're doing the mask and the foot scrub, let's also order them slippers and headbands, so they can use the headbands when they're doing the mask. They can use, their fun slippers after they did the foot scrub. She said, perfect, let's do it. Now I'm with Asia. If it's someone local to me this year, I'm going to offer to ship everything to my house and package it for them, especially if they're going to order 2 sets that are over $100. I'm going to just go ahead and do that for them. But if it's someone out of town, then obviously it'll be shipped to them. But it gave me the confidence last year to now this year, like, I'm going to hit everyone up. I'm going to hit up my endodontist. I'm going to hit up the orthodontist. I'm going to hit up every single person and be like, let me do the shopping for you. So that's kind of some of the biggest things, is don't be scared to make that ask, know your audience. I know that my specific audience wouldn't want anything makeup. So this year I'm going to suggest the Sugar Scrub Body Duo, and then the lip balm, and I'm going to throw a 3rd one in there, which is the Renew Your Body with the overnight resurfacing body peel, because I love it so much. So I'm going to see if I can get 3 out of them this year, but I'm just going to throw them all out there and just make the ask. That's the biggest thing, is to make the ask. And you never know who's, going to say, yeah, let's do it. And next thing you know, your 50 set goal then turns into 100. And I'm going for 100 this year.
I remember the day Fallon rang that cell. It was like, what just happened over there? You guys,
Fallon, can you tell me what those 3 were again that you said?
For this year?
Yeah.
maybe
So
put it,
my
let's put it in the chat, Fallon. Will you just write it out and put it in the chat?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Awesome.
Yep.
Thanks, Laurel. Super smart, because what Fallon does is very strategic. But what the layer on there, you guys, is she thinks strategically and doesn't think about, okay, I'm gonna, go ask every single neighbor if they want to buy a foot scrub. No, work smarter, not harder. So in that service that she gave, she offered taking that off. Like she said, these corporate people with all the things, they don't care about, sitting at home wrapping up a cellophane gift basket. But if you can take that off their plate and do that for them and offer them that service, that is incredible gift, and it's the experience. So she truly just went to her boss. What I want you guys to do is take a minute, brainstorm. What are a few companies? Do you have your husband's business? I know my sister has done that. Is there companies around you that you could brainstorm? Like she said, her dental office, her, different resources. So write down 2 or 3 companies, but those phone calls need to be made now. You need to offer that service now to get ahead of it and to be relevant to them, because even if you go to them mid-October, they'll probably say, it's already done. The budget's complete. So, love that, Fallon. Incredible. And I love the other thing you said. You set a goal. So super powerful. Okay. Bree Damsco, my sis-in-law, is going to share just a strategy that her and I have done together every single season. And it's like our bread and butter.
Hi guys. Okay, so I just got my box of all the product. And the first time we did this, I was like, what do we do with all this product? I know we're going to share it with everybody, let everyone see it, but then I don't, obviously I like some of the pieces, but I don't need all of it every year. It's kind of overwhelming. And so what we have done was a 3-day giveaway. So I'm so sorry. I have kids crying.
You're good.
Sorry. Okay. Hi, come here. Yeah, like cry. Oh, can you hold on? Sorry.
Yeah, I can step in.
Okay.
Okay.
Come
So we do this together every single year. Because it's just more fun. So first thing there is like, get a partner. Like if you are active on social media, or you're doing, if you have a group even on Facebook or something like that, do this with someone else, because it's just really fun. So what Bree and I do, like she said, I'm the same way. I have beauty counter product coming out my ears. I do not need to have all of it sitting in my house like mid-November. Okay, you want to take it away? I just gave a little background about doing this with somebody else.
Okay, yeah. Sorry, bloody lips. Okay. Okay, so we do 3 days. We kind of prep it with all of our clients. We're showing the product, taking videos of it, posting on social media. So you want everybody to see the product in October, early November, and then we pick 3 days. We've done it different times in November. One time we did it over Black Friday, and then one time we've done it earlier. So you pick 3 days, and then it's kind of a first come, first serve. So I tell my clients to purchase during these 3 days, and the first person to purchase is going to get a gift back. So everybody is getting a gift back who shops those 3 days with me, which I absolutely love. It's kind of crazy to realize that like I'm buying probably $500 worth of product and I'm giving it all back to my clients. But I absolutely love that. I feel like it's just like part of the giving spirit. I feel like it's a huge thank you to everyone who has taken time to purchase with us and work with us and support us all year. So I absolutely love that. But the good thing is, or a main thing is, we want to keep the product the rest of November, early December, so we can keep sharing it with people, doing pop-ups. And so we tell everybody we'll ship it to you mid-December. So you'll get it before Christmas, but we're going to hold on to it until it's, we're done sharing it with everybody. Am I missing anything? Sorry,
No.
now I'm all jumbled.
No, you're
Okay.
good.
Okay.
Maybe one thing to emphasize there is when we do that 3-day gift giving, time, we tell them like, hey, this is our gift back to you. If you shop with us, and we do a threshold. So we say 125 or more. If you spend 125 or more, like Bree said, first come, first serve. And we're showing them like, this is the stuff you're going to get. You're going to get this, you're going to get that. And so they know if they shop sooner, they're going to get to choose the better, best product from, the sets. I think what's really funny, here we are 3 years later, Allie, who I think is, Allie's still on the call. She followed our event all the time. She loved it. She would come on and she'd watch us do our giveaways. And that was the other piece that we always did on social media was we would thank our customers. We'd go live and say, oh my gosh, we just got to give this serum away to Jenny, and we got to give this set away to Allie. And Allie was our customer. And she had so much fun during that event. She ended up joining Bree's team. So you have no idea the influence and the fun that creates, you guys. Because like Bree said, yes, that's a very generous thing, but we should be gifting our customers. We absolutely should be gifting our customers. And of course, whatever is within your price range and makes sense to you and your family. But taking care of your customers like that is what keeps them coming back. Like point blank.
And we also talked about people who haven't bought all the holiday sets. You could still do this. You could still, show them in a creative way to people, and then have all your clients do the purchasing in 3 days. And then whoever does that maybe gets like a $5 Starbucks card or something small and special. You can still do these kinds of gifting ideas. I just think it's I have a hard time asking people, hey, please buy all this stuff from me at one time, when I maybe haven't talked to everybody in a while. But asking people to shop with me when I'm giving something back makes it so much fun and takes the pressure off of me asking people, or I don't know, not the pressure, but just that feeling of like, just please spend with me.
It feels good to
knowing
be
they're getting
generous.
something back. Yeah.
It feels good to be generous. So I really emphasize that. So the whole point of you guys taking notes on this is to fill your calendar out, to map out like what, and of course I just have November here, but we want to look at October as fall refresh. So going in, okay, should we be talking about holiday sets? We can all make our own decision. In my personal perspective, it's a little early. I did like a sneak peek on my Instagram story today, but I'm not going to get on in October. Probably mid towards end, I will. But for me, fall and October is all about updating colors and makeup colors. And how is your skin transitioning? Do we need to winterize your skincare? So I want to emphasize to you guys be sensitive. Don't be that first person that's like ripping everything open. What the heck are you going to do mid-November? You're going to be doing it all over again. So be strategic with your product. So that you use that time in October to talk about fall updates and winterizing your skin and switching things out to higher, moisturization and different colors of makeup and that. So I want to emphasize that. November, again, write these things out, put those events on your calendar and make some phone calls, make some asks. It takes a lot to get those things booked, but if you do it ahead of time, and kind of like what Tara was saying, what Bree was saying, what Lindsay was saying was make it a treat for them. Hey, I want to host this for you. Let's make it fun. Let's meet up for, coffee and brunch and chat. Make it easy for your people to say yes. And then December, lastly, because I want to honor our time, we're at 8:00 very quickly. And we can talk about this a little bit more later, but December, I definitely as a team want to execute a pouches with purpose. And what that is, this last thing on your list here is thinking strategically about a organization, maybe it's a hospital, but it's essentially putting together pouches to gift women and children in need. And of course, men, but we are pretty female driven, but that's the heart of let's give back. Let's be that team that has a heart of compassion, wants to serve our community. In the crazy Christmas holiday season, change the tune of asking for product and sales to, hey, this is how we're giving back. I'm partnering with a local homeless shelter, and for every $30 donation that's gifted, we will be giving this personal care set to a mother and child in need. I think of Asia. I did this my very first holiday season, and Asia donated to me. And it's so crazy, like full circle. She was one of the first people that was like, yes, I love this. What organization are you giving to? And then here we are, you know, she joined our team. So it is such a cool thing to get to do. And I would love for all of us to partner and choose your own organization. We can do it as a team and kind of choose the dates, but it would be really incredible to just bless our area. We're across the country. So just bless our country that is definitely in need right now. And to just really lead with that like giving heart and give back. So that's the idea for December. And yeah, we're going to wrap this up. Thank you guys for being here. I know that's a lot. This was the information. Now you can enter into processing and mapping out your goals. And I hope you can all say, maybe you started the call in circle one of fear, or you're over here and kind of just comforting and hunkering down, but you moved over into wanting to take action and move forward. So come and chat with any of the leaders. Jump off if you have to go. If there's any questions, I would love for you guys to unmute and just ask. That was a lot of information, but if there's just some dialogue of questions around how that worked or specifics, please unmute and ask.
Can I share one quick thing that I learned last year, and I'm going to do it? We were talking about thanking our customers, and I am totally guilty of waiting until like the middle of December to send out my thank you cards and my gifts. But we have all learned last year they did this. I'm like, duh. Send them out in the beginning of November. You should be thanking your customers up front. You're not asking them for anything in return, but you're simply thanking them. Maybe it's a postcard, you and the holiday sets, show your face. A beauty counter stock image is beautiful, but nothing is prettier than your bright smiling face. But it's just putting you top of mind. So thank you for shopping with me this year. I appreciate it. Top customers, I'm going to do a gift for. Everyone else is just going to get a thank you card, maybe a little scratch off, $10 off an order. I don't know yet. But I'm hoping that that will put me top of mind for their holiday shopping without asking for a sale. I'm just thanking them. So I wanted to be sure we threw that in there.
Thank you, Linz. We talked about that. So you guys, I just can't emphasize enough, November 1st. Like that's when we want to be a thank you campaign. Like Lynn said, maybe you're gifting your top customers. I always do. I look at my top 10. They definitely get something. But that's such a good point. That should definitely happen the 1st of November. Okay, what else?
I would just say I didn't think that November would be like the month. I thought it was going to be December. And I was looking at my numbers from last year, and my PV went from 5,000 in November to 700 in December. Granted, December hit and I was like, bye, like I'm too busy with like my own family stuff, right?
Exactly.
So that was my own personal, like, I didn't quite realize how much November was the month. I thought it would bleed into December, which it can. But by then I was already like burnt out with all of the stuff happening in November. So,
and that's such a good point to why we're talking here is mapping things out. Like you booked yourself all November. She didn't plan anything in December. So think about that. And that's where what Tara did, the holiday market, that's the type of stuff that's happening, you guys. There's markets, there's events. Partner with those things and collaborate with current events that are happening. You know, like I already said, Tara was our top sales in December because she just worked that one event. And let me tell you guys, she literally worked that one event and didn't do anything else. She'll say that too. Okay, what else? Laurel, I saw your head really shaking when Asia was talking about the guys event. So I'm sure you'll do something like that. Anything else? Questions, thoughts?
we all just share our verbiage on the chat too, like any images. Like I'd love to know how Fallon asked, like actually typing it out.
Yeah.
I just feel like whenever it comes to doing it, I'm like, I'm deer in headlights. I don't know what to say.
So good.
I just love those resources.
That's a great thing. Steph in the chat just kind of said the same thing. Like if you have any photos of events that you guys did last year, like Asia, if you have photos of your guys' event, Linz, if you have photos of your in-store boutique events, let's also share those. Like, how do you present product? How do you set it out? That's super important. So that's such a good call, Steph. We can totally do that. Photos and verbiage. Yes, we are all on the same page. I'm just going to say, you guys, giving and helping with verbiage is literally my favorite thing ever. So if you're ever talking to someone or you're like, how do I make an ask about this? Yeah, tell you exactly what to do, Allie. I'm here for you. If you guys jumped on the chat and Comecleansis and you're like, hey, I'm about to walk into this Pilates spot and I want to do a pop-up. What the heck should I say? I will give you verbiage. Okay.
If anybody takes photos of the product, I know Lauren and I did our first year, we took like really pretty photos of the product. Or we had like a photographer. I don't know what we were doing, but if anybody does something like that, share those because that was like really fun to have available.
I know that I'll be taking tons of photos of everything, first of all, and you guys can have all of them. But if you haven't seen on our like big chat, like our Changemakers chat, Rosetta, she's on Danielle Ryder's team. She did a bunch of really beautiful photos of like the set with the price and like the information on it. So those are great too for like social media feed stuff.
Awesome.
I'm
gonna do a photo shoot this year, so you can have access free. You can probably come over that day.
Rachel, was that the
They
Facebook
told us.
Changemaker group?
Yes,
Yeah.
Changemakers.
It's on Changemakers.
But that is a great point. One thing to emphasize is when you're going to sit down and take the time to do something like that, do it all at once. Like do your photos all in one day, pick a sunny day and just take everything, at one time, batch it, and then you can use that all season. One last thing I was going to say would be really fun because I just think it's darling is there's kind of a quintessential photo. If you did get holiday sets to hold them in front of like the front of your house, it's just like a cute, Merry Christmas, Lauren's got all the packages, and have someone take that shot of you, because texting those out, Kate Night Asia, texting that photo out of you, like Lindsay says, there's nothing that compares to your face. People want to see you. They don't want to see Rosetta in whoever she is. They want to see you. So if you take one photo this year, stack your holiday sets up. Maybe you bought one. Great. Make it a selfie. Picture of you in the holiday set. But that's a really cute photo. Stack your holiday sets up and stand at your front door. Very cute. Have your little neighbor kid take it. Whatever. Doesn't need to be professional. All right. We're all heading to bed. Love you guys. Thank you for being on. Thank you for staying with us. I know that was a lot, but so incredible that you invested and you showed up and that we are going to crush it. Comecleansis, taking over. Love you guys.